Hey, so look, real quick before I go in to work, I'm just gonna say this. This is why I'm doing a lot of this stuff, okay? I finally saw somebody that was living a life of being a vegan and started seeing more people, okay? It doesn't make sense until you actually see somebody living it. Doctors and people can analyze and give you all kinds of information and all kinds of stuff night and day, 24 hours a day, but none of it, you gotta see it to believe it. You gotta see somebody living it. Every single person, that's the way it is. You gotta, when you see a way and somebody's speaking in your language just for you, and if I'm not speaking your language, then I really don't care, because somebody out there I am going to reach, and I've already reached some people, so I know some people I'm reaching. And if I'm just not reaching you and this isn't the approach, then then it's not that big of a deal. I know that that's not for everybody. Not everybody reaches me. It's pretty hard to reach me. So when I do find somebody that actually is speaking the language and they're talking about it in the way, they're living the life the way that works for you, that works for me, it starts to make sense. And it's the huge difference. And why this relates to to Jesus is, man, you can tell me stuff about the Bible night and day. People preach the Bible night and day. You go to churches and they're reciting the same verses night and day, mixing verses together to make them work for whatever way they're trying to preach to you, And it's like the same old shit, and that's exactly what all the people like. This is exactly the story of the Bible itself, okay? In the New Old Testament, everybody had all these rules and laws and shit, and some people got pretty good at living by the rules and the laws and shit, and so they got stories in the Bibles about them. But it wasn't until Jesus Christ came along that he transcended all of those, and like, he didn't preach necessarily even, he didn't preach laws and stuff like that. He just lived it by example, like he knew it and he understood it and he just lived it. And people could tell that he was just living it. Like, he obeyed the laws. Like, he was the human image of God, like he did everything the way that God had intended a human to do things. And he was just a living example. And man, it takes that sometimes. I'm not saying that I am Jesus by any means, but it takes somebody to be showing you and be willing to show you sort of how you do it, just how you do it. Like, what does it take to really satisfy your hunger? I'm somebody that eats a lot. That's why I'm overweight. Like, I don't have a problem working out. I don't have a problem being healthy in that way and like taking care of myself that way. I have a problem with what I ate, and like, there's no way that I can do a diet that restricts calories or that restricts how much I eat, because I eat a lot. Like, I sweat a lot. I'm thirsty a lot. I'm hungry a lot. Like, I gotta have a lot of food, and I just got to. And that's been I just got to. Like, I don't want to live a life being hungry, and I don't want to have to do starvation. I don't want to be fasting. Like, I just can't do that. I won't do that. I feel like shit, and I become like an asshole, and I have to depend on caffeine all the time. So I'm not doing that. So how do you do this? Like, you have got to eat large quantity. You've got to eat large quantity of fruits and vegetables, good food, and you can put it back. You can kick it back. Pounds of food. Like, you pounds of food. You pounds of vegetables. Pound. You have to eat a lot. And you might gain weight, but man, dude, your body just goes through it so fast, dude, and your metabolism gets going so fast. You get so much more energy. It's just like, you gotta show somebody's gotta show you how to do that. How you can buy groceries, how you can make it cheap, how you can make it effective. How do you know that it's healthy? How do you know that you're getting all your vitamins? How do you know what the meat and dairy industry is doing? And being mindful of the food that you eat. That's a Buddhist thing for sure. Being mindful of what you eat and where you step. They didn't even step on bugs. They didn't even walk. They didn't even travel during the monsoon season because it was wet and they could possibly step on bugs and stuff. Like, that's how conscious. That's an amazing level of consciousness. And that's the way Jesus Christ was. Don't fool yourself. Jesus Christ and Buddha were on the same path, living the same daily life, meditating, being conscious of everybody, loving everybody, compassionate of everybody, giving their life to people. It's all the same stuff, man. And what I love most about the way that I eat now, it falls right in line with all that stuff. And another thing about Jesus is like, what did he do on a daily basis? How come I go to church? How come I go to church? I've been going to church my whole life, okay? Nobody's got to preach to me, okay? Like, you're not going to win me over with any fancy sermons or any shit like that. Nobody is, okay? I don't know. I've been to church services my whole life, 36 years. Nobody has once ever told me how to meditate. Okay, that is the biggest point in the turning of Jesus Christ's life when he was 33 years old, went into the forest for 40 days, 40 nights, and was meditating. And nobody can tell me, I've never heard in church once, how to meditate. What is meditating all about? And that is the most pivotal point in fucking Christianity. And nobody talks a goddamn thing about that. Lord's name in vain. You're right. Nobody has said anything about that ever to me. And you know what? This is how if you want to learn about how Jesus Christ lived, read about the Buddha. I've only read one book from one author. It's the only books I've ever read. I've read about 8 of his books. It's like reading like a children's book. It was awesome. It was like everything makes perfect sense, okay? Nobody has told you what Jesus Christ did on a day-to-day basis. The true compassionate, his compassion on it, and basically not a bum, but like giving out blessings for offerings, just like asking for food and in return giving a blessing that'll change your life. You know what I mean? And just walking from place to place to place to place, just saving people's lives just by what you say and just by being there. It's amazing. But nobody tells you about how to be like him. And the whole point of Jesus Christ is for you to follow in his footsteps. But nobody tells you how to do it. Nobody tells you how to do it. Nobody tells you about what he did every day. Nobody tells you what he ate every day. Nobody tells you there's so much left out, and nobody's even trying to preach it. Nobody's even trying to teach it. Well, no wonder people are holy on one day, and then the rest of the days they don't know what the fuck to do. Because you're not telling them what to do. Other than to be nice to people. Be nice to people, and here's some verses to remember, and be in fear. Because if you don't do this, you're going to go to hell. That's like all you're going to do. You're going to go to hell. No, man, show me. Start living it. Start walking it. Start talking it. Start walking it. Start showing people. Okay? You don't get that. Tell me about meditation. Next preacher in your next sermon, give me a sermon on meditation. Walking meditation, sitting meditation, playing sports is meditation. What the fuck is meditation? And why doesn't anybody talk about the 40 days and 40 nights that Jesus Christ spent in the forest, almost killed him, barely walked out, survived? It's the same story as the Buddha said, 40 days and 40 nights. Okay? It doesn't even matter to me if Jesus Christ was real, Buddha was real, or whatever. The story is real, and the story is truth, and God is the truth. Damn. Somebody start preaching some real shit, please.